So, I listen to music a lot, and I mean a lot. Pretty much in the background of all of my hobbies, I have music playing somewhere, and any regular viewers of this channel will know that I have a strong focus on storylines when regarding pretty much everything. That being said, I am especially fond of songs that tell some sort of story, which is what we'll be covering in this video. In the past, I've done videos on songs with fun tunes that were obscuring a very dark meaning, but today we won't be diving into anything particularly dark or disturbing. Instead, we will be looking at a song that I find has a very relevant story to modern times. Cats in the Cradle is a 1974 folk rock song by Harry Chapman. It was popular in its day and is still a song that many would recognize in modern times. Interestingly, the song's lyrics originated from a poem written by Harry Chapman's wife, Sandra. She was inspired to write the poem from the awkward relationship between her first husband and his father. Seeing how it was inspired, it makes sense that the song itself tells a story about a father and son, and their relationship over the course of many years as the son grows up. It is narrated from the point of view of the father, and starts at the very beginning of his son's life. Very early on, we get a glimpse of how the father's work life interferes with his family life, one of the lines from this section saying, "There were planes to catch and bills to pay. He learned to walk while I was away. And he was talking before I knew it, and as he grew, he said, 'I'm going to be like you, Dad.'" From this narration, it seems obvious that the father isn't desiring to be away from his son for long periods of time, but whatever line of work he's in is pretty demanding of his time, causing time to just slip away fast. He wasn't present when his son learned to walk, despite probably preferring that he was, and time slipped away so fast that it seemed his child was talking before he knew it. It gives this picture of a dad who isn't trying to avoid being a part of his son's life, but ultimately has to stay busy to keep paying the bills. His son's sentiment about wanting to be like him will be a present theme throughout the rest of the song as we go along. After the chorus, the song moves to shortly after his son has just turned 10. In this verse, the son mentions a ball that his father got him, presumably as a birthday present, and asks his dad to go play with it with him, requesting to learn how to throw. The father declines, expressing how he has a lot to do, which the son accepts just fine. While this verse only shows one small moment, I think it is to be inferred that situations like this happen frequently between them. The father regularly having to miss out on fun moments with his son due to his focus on his career. As the son walks away, the father notes how his smile never dimmed, as he said, "You know I'm going to be like him." This shows that the son isn't at all resentful of his father for having such little time to spend with him, but in fact he finds his father to be admirable, no doubt looking up to his work ethic and being proud that his dad is working on such important stuff. He looks up to his father, and he's said twice now he wants to be like him. After another round of the chorus, and a big time skip, we see the son coming home from college. The father notes how he looks like such a man now, and invites him to sit for a while. I think this is when we begin to see the father really realizing how quickly time is passing. It seems to me that seeing his son so manlike was a little bit jarring for him, and made him want to specifically spend time catching up with his son. But by now, his son has begun living a life of his own, transitioning into that independence that young adults have. He declines his father's request and instead just asks for the car keys, no doubt going to be on his way to hang out with whatever people are in his life now. It's now that we begin to see the tables turning. The father is asking to spend time together, while the son is too busy to do so. The years where his kid would have had all the time in the world are over, as his son begins to have a life of his own. Yet another chorus and time skips goes by, and we soon learn that the father is now retired and his son has long since moved away, and now has a career and family of his own. The father calls him up just to ask to see him, which the son answers with, "I'd love to, Dad, if I could find the time. My new job's a hassle and the kids have the flu, but it was sure nice talking to you." As you can see, the son is in a very similar situation as his father was in years ago. He would genuinely like to hang out with his aging father, but has so many responsibilities of his own now, including his own kids, that he just doesn't have much time to do so. The verse ends with the father hanging up the phone and coming to a revelation. His boy had grown up to be just like him. Just like his son had said all throughout his years of growing up, he had become the hard-working and busy man that his father, the man he looked up to, always was. It's sort of a ships passing in the night kind of situation, both of them being in different positions of life at different times, creating a series of missed opportunities of the time they could have spent together. Now, I want to make it clear that I don't think the song is saying that having a career-focused life is bad. After all, it establishes at the beginning that the father is thinking about the bills he has to pay, and he does show consistent care for his son despite being consumed with work. Similarly, it's only natural that the son goes on to have a full life of his own, and we also see that he isn't specifically trying to avoid his father either. He even mentions his kids in the phone call, showing that he is rightfully placing some priority on his own children as well. Neither of these two characters in the song dislike or are actively trying to avoid each other, and they also never show any sort of resentment for one another as the time passes. As I stated, the son even seemed to be proud of his father. It's not like it was showing an unhealthy relationship between the two. However, as the song goes on, it seems to show that the father is beginning to realize how much time with his son that he has missed out on, and perhaps wishes he had done things a little bit differently, so that they would have had more time to hang out while his son was still young. I think more than anything else, it is showing an obstacle of the world that we live in. In order to support his family and ensure financial stability, the father sunk himself into his work, but ended up missing out on what could have been key memories and moments with his son in doing so. Then, as he began to realize how fast time was slipping away, his son had grown up to be just like him, always busy with very little time to spend with his father. What the two of them are doing isn't inherently bad, but has resulted in them missing out on time with each other, something that both of them no doubt wish they had more of throughout the years. The story of the song displays the dichotomy of wishing to both spend time with one's family, but also ensure a good financial situation by being career focused. I think this is very relevant to today's world, in which it seems everything is going at an incredibly fast pace, and time just keeps on slipping away. I believe that the message to be taken away from the lyrics of this song is that sometimes you should take a moment to enjoy the times that you are in with the people that you love while you can, because someday, that may come way sooner than expected, you might find yourselves on different paths of life and wishing that you took time to appreciate the days of the past just a bit more. The chorus of the song that repeats in between the verses displays this idea of father and son missing out on time with each other without really intending to, through the use of recognizable references, obviously to the Cats in the Cradle game played by children, and then through different elements of nursery rhymes, such as referring to the son as Little Boy Blue and the father as the Man in the Moon. This shows the distant nature of their relationship in a creative way, whilst putting the focus of the analogies on things that relate to children. At first it goes on to say, "When you comin' home, Dad?" Obviously the words of the son, to which the dad says, "I don't know when." However, as the song progresses, it reverses the roles, the dad now saying, "When you comin' home, son?" to which his son replies, "I don't know when." This displays the somewhat heartbreaking irony of the situation. When the son wanted to spend time with his father, he was too busy with work, but now that the father is the one requesting for them to spend time together, the son is the one who has become too busy. As I've stated throughout the video, the song shows the story of a relationship between a father and son, neither of which are trying to avoid each other or had any kind of intent to stay away from one another, but due to the pressures and shifting priorities of life, never quite seem to find a time that they could just simply hang out and make memories. Like he always promised, the son went on to grow up to be just like his dad, which wasn't necessarily a bad thing, but just meant that they continued to not have time to spend together. The story of the song is melancholy, especially because it illustrates a situation that can be so easily seen in the real world. If you enjoyed the video, I encourage you to drop a like and a comment to help it out, as well as subscribe to the channel if you enjoy storyline-oriented content. If you especially like the stories found within music and their lyrics, then I suggest giving my playlist The Story Behind the Song a try. It's linked in the description. Thanks for watching, and until next time, it's been Playmaster.